we're gonna do we're gonna do something that we haven't done in a while, actually, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna
we need
find some kind of ridiculous article to make fun of. So I need to look for something retarded. Is that what you said earlier?
Yes, find me something retarded.
All right, no problem. Slate.com. Let's see. What have we got? Oh, this looks good. People are molding their responses to Nassim Agdam to fit the shape of their bigotry, by Christina Cauterucci.
Okay. And Slate is how is Slate spelled? Is that like a human being?
Just like a normal person would spell it.
Okay. Human spelling of Slate and
not someone that writes at Slate, but a normal person.
And I am there.
Awesome. It should be right on the front page.
Yes, that.
Or no, it's in the news and politics section. So you may have to click that.
So do you think that? So Michael Malice posted a meme with this exact picture on his Twitter feed earlier. Do you think that his first thought was, I need to find something retarded, and he went to Slate.com as well?
He seems like a pretty astute guy. That might be exactly what happened. My main question is, why does she have a gray devil bunny?
I don't know. According to what I heard,
is that real? Like, it doesn't look real. It looks stuffed.
It might not.
It should be really ironic for a vegan.
Well, I imagine it might be like not a stuffed rabbit, but like a stuffed animal rabbit. So it would only be made out of animal product.
Oh. It's like that episode of Penn and Teller's bullshit where they had the PETA episode, and then they're like, no animals are harmed in the making of this episode, and then they were like, oh, except for this and this and this and that, and this has animal products in it and such and such. And they go through the whole credits that way. It's beautiful. I don't get it. Like why is she in front of a full moon under blue light with a devil rabbit? Like, what's the purpose here?
Well,
like,
I mean, okay, so we didn't watch her almost certainly retarded YouTube channel, which they have now taken down. So of course, there's probably a context for this that we will now never know.
It reminds me of that ridiculous 3 wolf shirt, but like 3 rabbit shirt instead. Like, you know, the shirt that cured AIDS. Old internet memes. Whatever will we do with you?
Rehash them 10 years from now?
Hell yeah!
So
this is the YouTube shooter.
Yeah,
is that right?
It's kind of sad, really. I mean, she's 38 years old, and she was 38 years old, and just you just throw your life away. You got the whole world ahead of you. And
dude, she was a YouTube generator. That was her whole thing. She didn't have a life.
Well, I was building up to a joke about her being a vegan, but I guess that works too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you feel free to go on with it.
This was too late now.
It wouldn't be the first time someone held me down and talked to me about veganism.
So what does this article got to offer? So,
FBI study of active shooter situations. Just 6 women out of 160 situations, and 3 of the 42 active shooters in 2014 and 2015. Holy hell, there are actually links to sources. I'm amazed.
On Slate?
On Slate?
Oh my god, there are.
Oh man, this is like top shelf.
It's not just someone wailing at a wall.
Wailing is, I think, a strong word from what the people at Slate can do. Maybe like sliming or rubbing up against. I think most of the people that write for Slate don't have enough upper body strength to wail on anything.
And enough lower body strength to stand.
Well, they have enough lower body strength to stand, but just barely.
Just
they cling to earth.
All right, so what is this article actually saying? Let's see.
It's about her gender.
So, Agdam's gender is just the beginning of what makes her different from other Americans who've tried to kill random civilians. They weren't random; they were people at YouTube. She specifically went to
targeted.
YouTube.
It's not random at all. That's very targeted.
So this
FBI study Businesses closed to pedestrian traffic. Usually former or current employees. Relationships with employees. She doesn't fit a profile. She left a trail of bizarre videos.
More or less bizarre than her usual fare?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like
maybe,
and it's like a trail of bizarre videos. Like she's moving around and putting them out.
It's a
but
channel.
It's just like, no, it's a channel, dude. Like it has a standard hyperlink.
The FBI was searching for individual video titles. They went to the NSA and they were like, "Hey, do you have this information?" And they were like, "No." And they were, "But don't you have that thing?" They're like, "Oh yeah, that." And it's like, "Okay, so would we be able to find all of her videos searching your database?" They're like, "Probably." And so they brought them in. And they're like just doing a search for her name, and then like 40 people come up, and like 3 of them have YouTube channels. And so the FBI's like got 40 guys in the room digging around, and then someone's just like watching them all on their phone and wondering what they're all doing.
There should be like a counter NSA that watches the NSA do these kinds of hijinks and records it and posts it to the internet. It's like, no, dude, it's a YouTube channel. You guys don't understand how YouTube channels work? My God in heaven. Just click on the channel. Hell, click subscribe. That way you'll get a little bell when she says something about crazy rabbits.
We're talking about the same FBI that when anytime there's video evidence of something, it disappears.
Anytime there's hard drive evidence of something, they vanish.
Yes, they're outfoxed by a 65-year-old woman.
And they don't take notes for under oath. For under oath interrogations. Of course not.
So what else have we got here? So
she didn't make public any recognizable political platform beyond general calls for animal rights and free speech, and general criticisms of institutions she regarded as responsible for destroying family values and promoting sexual degeneration. Her anger was exclusively directed at YouTube for a personal reason. She thought the company was suppressing her videos, driving down viewership, and deriving her of income. Isn't that technically true?
Well, yes.
Like they were demonetizing her videos, right?
Yeah, they did. What YouTube did was from what I've understood of it, they made it so that you had to meet certain viewing criterias before you could monetize your videos, and it made a lot of people angry. And
but to my understanding, those criteria were met by her channel. For instance, having 1,000 subscribers. She had something like 300,000 views on a video. Is that right? Or I guess that's what I read from a different source. I guess it's possible we don't know.
It might be true. Maybe she believed that they were blocking her content for some reason. I mean, because that's like, there's like that.
Well, there have been a lot of people posting videos about their stuff being demonetized pretty much automatically, even when it's just like a dummy video that doesn't have anything in it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that. The rumors of shadow blocking on Twitter or whatever they were calling it.
Well, that's actually a thing. Like when I went and visited your Twitter page. As a non-Twitter user, it only listed your last tweet from like December. You are technically under the Twitter shadow ban.
Shadow ban, that's the word. Yeah. I have no idea because I see all of mine and there's people responding to it, so it's like I guess they don't.
Some people get it and some people don't. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's very weird because I went directly to your page. Like I looked up your Twitter handle.
No. Okay, no, that's not. I'm not being shadow banned.
That's not that.
Yeah, I have 2 Twitter accounts. So here's what I did. I had one that I was using for my various writing and just chatting with people.
Oh.
That one, this is the great part. That one I had under a pseudonym. That's the one that you're viewing.
No, I was viewing the one with your real name.
Are you sure?
100%.
Can you read? I basically just asked you if you could read.
Yes, I am going back to the page that I visited yesterday, and the last tweet that is up there is, well, this one says April 2nd. So, I guess... But it didn't have any of your tweets that you were showing me pictures of.
It might be... Because you have, like, different plugin settings on your browser. Maybe something just got out of whack
Possibly.
there. I don't
Yeah, it could
see.
be.
I've got like 9 followers. I don't mess around much on Twitter. I don't see any reason that Twitter would shadow ban me. I'm
No,
innocuous.
probably not. Yeah. Well, you did write a story about a drug addicted mercenary captain of a ship and the abuse that she throws at another character that is nearby.
Yeah, isn't that normal?
Pretty normal.
I mean, this Nassim woman probably would have like found my den of iniquity and shot me after reading it, but
Possibly. You were promoting sexual degeneration,
Yeah.
which isn't actually a thing. I think she meant degeneracy, or degeneration is
Yeah.
like degeneration is like
are you suffering from erectile
your
dysfunction?
9 bits atrophy and fall off. They're making the frogs gay or something. I don't know.
Thanks, by the way, for making it sound like I write pornography like every other independent author out there.
Hey! Pornography sells. Don't knock it.
No, you're right though. It's like I seriously think 90% of the people who are actually making sales are just writing straight up pornography. I like to put jokes and things in my book, but I never put situations in, and it's. I'm starting. There's times where I sit down and I think, should I just try it as an experiment to see if it's like, just like bam, 1,000 sales overnight. What just happened?
You should just get someone to draw you a naked person and put that on the cover of each of your books. I'm not even sure which gender you should choose. Just pick one.
I don't think that matters either.
It might not.
But it's so funny because it's like I get into these. I try to get into what I think are these circles of science fiction writers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, let me read what you got. And so they send me their book, and I get 3 pages in, and there's a sex scene. I'm like, oh, yeah. So this
Too
is
soon?
This is what you meant by hardcore sci-fi, huh?
Oh, Lord God.
Oh, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. So conservative media seems to be focusing on her Iranian heritage. Right-wing Twitter is ablaze with accounts of identifying her as white. The 2010 U.S. Census did in fact include Middle Eastern people as white, because, I mean, technically, depending on how many races you think there are, I mean, it used to be fairly well. What's the word I'm looking for? I read a book a while back, maybe not a whole book, but or like part of a book or an article or something like that, where people basically said that the people that study this kind of stuff basically separate people into 3 races, which is basically, I don't remember what the exact words for them were, but it was basically white, black, and Asian. But then I read someone else talking about that now that's like 7, I don't know, whatever. But like the whole thing's silly, but
Well, at least they're actually real races.
yes. So far, there are no half-elf and no dragonkin in the actual anthropology, so that's at least some comfort.
Well, not too much though, because I'm pretty sure they'll just repackage dragonkin and half-elf as genders later on, if they haven't already. So, a person who identifies himself as a Daily Wire scare quote contributor retweeted.
Why are they putting scare quote around Daily Wire contributor? Like, is he or is he not a contributor?
Well, I mean, they start the sentence by saying that this person identifies themselves as that. So there's
no. That's not how being a contributor works.
Well, no, they're already implying that they don't know if that's true or not, so they don't need to put that in quotes.
If they no, but they okay. So here's the funny thing is that they say a person who identifies, and they don't identify the person, but then they put a link up which then identifies the person. So couldn't they just cross-check the Twitter handle that they link to with Twitter handles at Daily Wire and just be like, "Yep, it's this guy." No, I guess not.
Which is weird because there's actually like just on this portion of the page 6 different source links.
Yeah.
So this guy says that Ogden's name sounds Amish. And another reporter for the outlet modified a similar tweet with a one-word statement, terrorism. Okay, I'm having trouble figuring out where exactly this article is going, so let's...
So they're basically saying that the people on the right are trying to put her on the left, and the people on the left are making... It's basically the article. I'm kind of looking through the article, kind of skimming, and the basic theme of the article seems to be that everybody is trying to hot potato her off onto an opposite group. So the right's saying she's part of the left's saying she's part of the right. The women are saying she's a trans person. Trans people are saying that she's not trans. You know.
Wait, huh?
Yeah. Well, she's like, I don't know. She's kind of square jawed. I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the police have confirmed that this was a woman.
Well, woman, yes, but not necessarily woman identifying, I guess is what they're saying.
Oh, man. When I die... No, I was going to say one thing, but now I want... when I die, I don't care what people say. And the funnier, the better. Like, if you can make everyone laugh by convincing them that I am completely something else from what I've said I am my whole life, go nuts.
Uh-huh.
Why does that matter?
Well, it's just weird, because it's like... I mean, look... We live in a country of 300 and some million people, of which... depending on how you define your sides, maybe 160 million of them are on the left and 160 million of them are on the right, kind of thing, right? It's like, we get 3 of these per year, and it's like, it's not because they're left or right or whatever that they did this. It's because they're fucking nuts. It's like the average human being does not. Okay, let's say hypothetically that this is that what she claimed is true. That YouTube was specifically targeting her for demonetization for some stupid reason, right? And it made it so that she couldn't make money on YouTube anymore. People lose their jobs. Thousands of people lose their jobs every day. And 99.9999999% of them don't come back to the place with a gun. The level of... I don't even know what to call it. The level of nuttiness that is required for you to say, oh, I lost my job. Better go kill people. It's just like, okay, whatever. You're an insane person. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with any political position that you might have.
So the best part about this article is that I haven't heard any of this. So they're saying, okay, so I'll just read this. Because Ogden is a woman, jokes about gender came easily. She didn't kill anyone at YouTube, so mass murder must be yet another area of superior male expertise. I can't even begin to tell someone just how much a part of the issue that whole sentence is not. She must have.
What do you?
What does that have to do with anything? It's like, wait, okay. So someone joked about her not being as efficient at killing with a gun as a man in this. What does that have to do with anything here? It's a crazy woman.
She only did 77% damage to everybody.
Insert pay discrepancy joke at your whim.
I just did. I don't know. It's. I mean, this article actually doesn't seem like it's that bad.
Yeah, no,
it's actually reporting, which is kind of amazing.
Well, we haven't finished it yet. Let's not jump to conclusion.
I guess that's true.
So,
yeah, fair enough.
Called her. One person on Twitter called her a bitter woman and speculated that a love triangle may have contributed to her motive. alt-right leader Mike Cernovich posted... Is that true? Is he an alt-right?
No, he's not alt-right.
Okay. Has posted several photos of Agdam, including one without comment that showed her in a studded leather jumpsuit with an open chest and corset laces. Well, take fame...
Seemingly inviting comments on her looks.
Take fame where you can get it, I guess. His
followers took their cue, tweeting that she looked hot, like a prostitute, or Barbarella. The only one of these which is not quotes in quotes is Barbarella, which
what is Barbarella?
Doesn't make any damn sense at all. Users have taken photos of her and made what looks like fan art. Oh, internet, what won't you do?
There's nothing the internet won't do. That's why
Rule 34.
That's why Slate exists.
I guess
no,
so.
But okay. So wait, let's think about this for a minute. Her in a studded leather jumpsuit, as opposed to the picture of her in the nice black dress up top. Like, that's a very subjective thing. So I don't know how much that matters. Like,
it doesn't. I think that's the point that the author's making here, is that this is all just silly.
I don't think that's the point the author's going to end up making. It is silly.
That's a fair point. We're not done with the article yet, just like you said. Yeah. But you have to notice that the next sentence is, this fixation on appearance is unusual among public responses to mass shooters.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like the last one everyone was...
No, I mean, people made fun of that... What was that bald freak guy that shot up that congresswoman in Arizona? Like, people were making fun of the way he looked quite a lot, because his mugshot was, like, crazy eyes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was meme after meme. There were people who distorted the image to give him, like, a giant forehead.
There were the Elliot Rodger thing where that kid, what did he do? He, like, ran over some people, and then he got out and shot some people or something, and people were making fun of him, too. I mean, I think that it's not an unusual response necessarily to respond with black humor to something that is hard to actually process. Like, this is not... People have been doing... It's why it's called gallows humor, dude. It's like, come on.
I mean, at the very least, it seems like the men were presented in a much poorer light post-crime or posthumously.
I don't know. She doesn't seem to be getting a whole lot of positive hits.
Well, no, I mean, like with her, they took her and they put her in an outfit, as opposed to even if it was making fun of her, even if it was like sexualizing the thing. With the men, it was just straight up, let's make them uglier.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
There's nothing inherently ugly about someone putting on leather. It might not be to someone's taste, but it's not inherently ugly.
Well,
making fun of, yes, but
yeah, I don't know. Requiring something to be quote unquote inherently ugly, I think, is perhaps a very high bar, because that's very subjective.
Yeah. Either way, it's like people were being made fun of no matter their gender. That just happened.
Because I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of weird people that'll be like, yeah, that's super hot. When you're like, yeah, this person's vomiting on themselves. Like, yeah, that's super hot. It's like,
I mean, yeah, that's true too.
no, it's just
Rule 34.5.
Yeah.
So where did we leave off here? See, when
Agdam has a objectively more peculiar and interesting aesthetic, in large part because she made YouTube videos in garish costumes like nobody else does. But some conversations on right-wing Twitter have veered closer to appraisals of her sexual desirability than mere assessments of her closet. There's no particular reason why her sex appeal should be of note to these observers other than she's a new woman thrust into their consciousness. And sex is the lens through which new women are judged?
Well, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it until I read this article, so I guess...
I guess... I don't know. I mean,
listen, the first time
is the point she's making here valid, or is it just that she's cherry picking?
It's cherry picking. I mean, the first image I saw of this woman was the picture.
I mean, well, so here's the thing. If you were handed, apropos of nothing, an image of a person, what can you possibly say about it other than to judge the image as to whether you find it appealing or not?
That's about it.
I mean, like it's not like these people are being handed a 10-page written manifesto, and they're reading through the manifesto, and their response to the written manifesto is, "I bet she's hot." It's a photograph. They can't make any vast sweeping. I mean, anyway.
And furthermore, you know, people modifying these images and making fun of someone who did a horrible thing is that a bad thing, to be derogatory towards a monster?
Well, they're not saying derogatory. They're just saying.
But that's what this is.
They're praising her sexual desirability, which is not the same as saying insulting. They're saying that I mean, for all I know, the responses could be 50-50 or slanted in a different way. I have no idea.
Well,
I'm not going to slog through Twitter to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
No. Here, okay. This is
so if you've ever spent any time on forums, and like, especially forums that are not entirely, but mostly occupied by men. If you post a picture of a random female, you will get responses of "I'd hit it," regardless of what the picture actually is. like that's just a joke. I mean, like, I hope people understand that.
I mean, not always, but a lot of the time it is.
It's a coin toss, but it's definitely a possibility.
They're quoting someone here. Let's see. The YouTube shooter was not a woman, he was a trans woman. A user with the handle "Women Have Wombs" tweeted, "Please do not add this person to women's crime statistics." Okay, I agree that is a stupid statement for someone to make, but for totally different reasons, I'm sure, than the person that wrote this article. Because at what point did it become a matter of keeping a score?
Well, to this. So you have to remember, these people are collectivists, and because they're collectivists, they view everything through these coagulated numbers. So you see what her argument is. If you add someone who we say is a male to the women's stats, it will skew them, and that reflects badly on us because I don't know how averages work.
Hang on.
And to be fair, at least in the picture on the thing, she doesn't look particularly mannish.
I didn't think so at all. That was the first picture I saw of her. So.
She actually looks really heavily made up. Look, it's either a really bad camera or she's wearing a hell of a lot of like powder, something or other.
Gunpowder, huh? I got a level with you. I'm reading the next paragraph here, and I'm starting to think that the person most guilty of over-sexualizing this situation and this particular woman is the writer of this article.
Why is that?
Twitter users have presented Agdam's eyebrows, neck, muscular frame. She was a bodybuilder. Okay, wait, no. I'm looking at this picture, and I'm not seeing bodybuilder anywhere in here.
Well, no, her arms aren't visible. They're covered by sleeves. I've also read that she is muscular, but this picture does not demonstrate that. I agree with you on there.
I mean,
but then I don't know.
All right, to be fair, a lot of times, like when I used to go to the dojo, it was it's like I'm wearing a shirt, and then you go to get changed, and it's like, oh, that's why that guy can throw me. He actually has arms. You kind of can't see like biceps, but just at a glance.
There are people who work out to the point where they get biceps. Like, that's what bodybuilding is. It's building muscles to the point where it's actually impractical.
Well, what I'm saying is that, yeah, it could be the case that her shirt is hiding that in that picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to scroll up and check again. But like that, I mean, it's harder for women to build muscle anyway, so it's quite possible that she is a bodybuilder, and it's not showing up very well. She's not like, that kind of bodybuilder that's like.
Well, the point seems to be that there's nothing particular. So the next sentence is there's nothing particularly gender transgressive about her physical appearance or presentation, and I think that's probably the best description. Is that she's just is that she's probably on the, as far as sexuality goes, she's probably on the normal spectrum, the standard spectrum. I don't know what you want to call it. She's probably a cisgendered person.
More than likely. I mean, she had a YouTube channel. Someone should be able to find this out.
Well, no, the YouTube channel's been gone now.
No. But the point is, she
handed over to the FBI or something.
Thousands of viewers. Someone should be able to say on that, because
I guess I mean, to be fair, these people don't actually know her as a person, so they just know. I mean, there are lots of people.
Well, if she didn't say anything about it anywhere, why would anyone assume?
Well, that's a good point, because like I've watched a lot of random YouTube videos, and the thing that I find that happens a lot is that people seem to mention if their gender situation is uncommon.
Yeah.
Really, really frequently.
Very frequently.
Like I was watching this one video that this guy was just kind of doing like a video blog of some of his experiences as a is it he? I'm not sure if it's he. I mean, it seemed like it was he, but
just say Dragonkin.
Well, Dragonkin, yes. This Dragonkin was doing videos about his or her experiences as a English language teacher in Japan. And, like, apropos of basically nothing, in the middle of one video, they talked about how they were on hormones because they were transgender. It's not. I mean, this person was a vegan, so she talks about. We know that she talks about the things that she believes in.
Yeah.
And if she was transgender, I'm sure she would have mentioned it.
Yeah. So they're
unless she was somehow like in some kind of closet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and if that's the case,
what's the point of speculating on this?
Like,
isn't she dead?
Exactly. But again, it goes back to everyone wants the statistic to be pushed off on someone else so that they could.
But it's a statistic. It doesn't reflect on you as a person.
Well, but they want to reflect it on people. Someone somewhere wants to be able to point at another group and say, someone in your group did this. You're worse than I am. That's what this is.
I see.
I mean, that's the only reason to be talking about it, other than us trying to figure out why someone would want to talk about it. It doesn't matter, and if she never mentioned it to where one of her followers could confirm this, then we have to assume that either she didn't want to, or it wasn't the case. In which case, the people that are saying no, it was the case, it's like, what case do you have?
They had no evidence.
You have nothing.
They have the evidence that she was a bodybuilder. Okay, does that make her transgender? I don't know. No, it does not. I think the answer is no. That being a bodybuilder does not automatically make one transgender.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with that sentiment.
There are female truck drivers. Deal with it.
Where did we leave off?
The most prominent person questioning her gender is Laura Loomer, formerly of Project Veritas, which tries to trick mainstream publications into publishing false information.
Is that what they do?
No, it's not. I mean, it might be, but I mean, right. So Project Veritas does sting operations where they try to either infiltrate an organization or trick the organization into doing something that reflects poorly on them. So, like, Project Veritas are the guys that did the thing where they had the guy dress up in a pimp costume and go to the Acorn people and be like, "Yeah, what do we do if we have a bunch of like Dominican hookers that are underage working in our home?" And they're like, "Well, and it's the issue is not that they are The issue is not that they are doing investigative reporting. The issue is that they are doing investigative reporting of the wrong people. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if I can imagine that if this person at Slate got the opportunity to like go to an NRA meeting and get them to talk about
killing Jews in the street,
something like that, that they would jump on that shit like it was delicious. And it was like, so it's like I really can't blame Project Veritas for doing undercover journalism for people and trying to expose organizations that are doing things that are under the that are surreptitiously doing things that are not part of what their public face is.
Only the police are not supposed to commit acts of entrapment.
No, the police absolutely commit acts of entrapment.
Well, they
police
do
are
all
allowed
the
to lie
time.
to anyone they want. Yeah, that's what
they're not supposed to.
No, they are supposed to. They're allowed to lie to people to entrap them. That's gone through courts.
Oh.
Yeah.
For those of you out there who were thinking that I knew everything, this is not the case.
Exactly.
Nobody actually thought that.
No one actually listens to these.
Actually, no, there is one person who constantly says Justin knows everything, but that's just a myth that I like to permeate through the universe.
Promulgate.
No, let permeate through the universe.
Oh, okay.
Ancient alien civilizations that will once again sprout up will one day speak my name.
Quote unquote Atlantis.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you were reading. You're running off my joke, aren't you?
I'm certainly not providing you Illuminati code. That's definitely not what's happening.
Well, I mean, the Illuminati's not real. And
Project Atlantis. Loomer later tweeted to her 138,000 followers, Agdam had very muscular thighs and buff arms, and oversized breasts that look distorted with Photoshop. I've seen a couple of shops in my day.
And this one looks photoed.
The pixels look weird. Nasim is not traditionally a woman's name, it is a boy's name. The Twitter users have disputed that. NRA supporters who aren't blinded by Islamophobia are holding up Agdam as evidence that gun violence is random.
No, it wasn't random. She had an issue with YouTube, went to YouTube, and shot people.
Yeah, but I don't think NRA is making the case that the gun violence is random either.
Well, yeah, likely not.
She's deliberately, the author here is deliberately understating the NRA's case. It is not that gun violence is random, but that gun violence is perpetrated by determined individuals, and that punishing non-evil people for the actions of evil people is generally a bad idea. And it's not even technically the NRA, because the NRA is a training organization. She's talking about the NRA ILA, which is a sister organization that actually does the political organization for the quote-unquote NRA. And that's another fun thing to deal with, is that, oh, it's the NRA. No, it's the NRA ILA. They're the actual political organization. They have to be separate from the NRA because of, whatchamacallit, financing laws. But, yeah.
You're one of those retarded, uninformed gun owners, aren't you?
One of those things is true.
Unlike most mass shooters, she was a woman with a small handgun. Therefore, neither the corrosive effects of hegemonic masculinity nor frictionless access to assault rifles have anything to do with who tries to kill people and how. Well, I mean, any idiot could have said that.
Did I ever tell you my joke about 25 ACP?
Tell me your joke about 25 ACP.
Man, if someone shot me with 25 ACP and I found out, I'd be pissed.
That's a good joke.
It is a good joke. The funny thing is that 25 ACP has less muzzle energy than 22 long rifle. It is a piddling round. Agdam was the exception that proved the rule, neither of which is described here. She is a woman who opened fire in a public place only to be met with accusations that she was not a woman at all.
What rule did she prove?
That women don't... this is why I said it wasn't stated at all.
with all her idiosyncrasies. She was a human being. That's what everyone has.
She was a crazy person that took the loss of her job very personally.
But
and
the idiosyncrasies, they're referring to like all the things that she was as a non-crazy person, like a vegan, someone who had a YouTube channel, all of those things that people were arguing about, that they were discussing in this article. That's what they're talking about when they say idiosyncrasies here. So the normal human state, there's like no reason for them to have said that. It's just kind of jarring at the beginning of that sentence. Not quite as jarring as saying she's the exception that proved the rule, and then not saying what rule they're talking about.
Or what exception to what rules they're talking. And like they say that she was met with accusations that she was not a woman at all. It's like, no, that's just the internet rumor mill buzzing.
Well, she certainly wasn't
she's
met
already
with them
long
because
dead.
she's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like no one met her with accusations. She shot herself.
Did she shoot herself, or was it the police that shot her?
My understanding is that she shot herself.
So I guess this article was just talking about how when something happens, the internet gets a little retarded about it, and
the internet was retarded about everything.
I know. I don't know.
That's the whole point of the internet.
If that's what the
Gabriel's greater internet fuckwad theory is still in effect.
If that's like this particular writer's whole shtick, they will never run out of content. I think that's brilliant.
No,
that's brilliant.
I mean, it's Slate. Yeah. Internet retarded story at 11.
So Christina Cauterucci, I'm just guessing that's. I'm going to guess that Cauterucci is like Italian for covering a wound.
Yeah, closing
a wound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what she's trying to do with this article. There was this wound of death and misery at YouTube, and she's trying to give it some closure by,
I guess,
by making light of the actual thing that happened, and instead talking about what people are tweeting about. She's talking about what people.
To be fair, she's not technically making light of it, but she isn't. She isn't really providing any particular interesting commentary.
Yeah, no, I mean,
But I guess there's not really any interesting commentary to have here. I guess to be fair, really the only news is that internet being retarded story at 11.
Yeah.
So as far as that goes, the article's not bad.
No, it's okay. So to be fair here, we went into this one thinking with the expectation that it was going to be something just ridiculous, and it's
Slate.
Yeah, but the article itself, it covered what the person.
Sourced.
Yeah, it's sourced. It covered what the person wanted to talk about, and it may not
mostly
have
factual.
Yeah, it may not have had a point or a good one.
It may not have had a point that does anything to move dialogue forward anywhere in the world, but
people use forks. Some people use forks to eat. Others stab people with them.
Metal Gear Solid 3, running and gunning.
I don't know. I'm actually.
And the weirdest thing here is that the headline says that people are molding their responses to fit the shape of their bigotry, but there's not really any actual bigotry described here. It's just hot potato, which is not the same thing as bigotry.
Yeah. I mean, basically anything can be construed to be bigotry at this point.
Well, that's you're giving away too much ground there, because the fact that certain people will call anything bigotry does not mean that anything is bigotry. It means that those people are craven lunatics.
Yes, I don't deny that part of. I mean that should be implied in my statement, and the fact that it isn't is terrifying, actually.
Yeah. Well, it just needed to be said explicitly. I mean, we don't want to leave anything to implication when dealing with craven lunatics.
I mean, I don't want to be too nice to Slate, so I guess I'll at least attack on form here. That headline is terrible.
Yes, it is.
It almost sounds like someone knocking on a door, and like an 8-year-old child banging on a door. Mom, people are molding their responses to Nassim Agdam to fit the shape of their bigotry. Okay, dear.
It does kind of run on way too long for a headline.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, apart from that, I'm surprised that Slate was able to dig up someone that could talk in complete sentences.
Well, she's a staff writer.
Oh,
so
okay.
She's like one of their top people.
Yeah, it's good on you, Cauterucci.
Yeah, you managed to not have any glaring typographical or grammatical errors in your somewhat useless article.
I mean, I can live with some typographical errors, no problem there.
Hey, I mean, at least it's a good link dump. I mean, you know, it has links to all of the things that she's talking about, which, you know, we got Washington Times article, we got someone on Twitter, Twitter. These sources aren't nearly as good as I thought they were.
I mean, I knew that. I didn't want to suggest that we actually start clicking them.
Twitter.
I mean, I'm
not
looking at
clicking
the
them. I'm just
FBI
mousing
right
over.
now.
Well, the FBI one's just a statistic from a study. I mean, those are pretty well understood. But like the whole middle, excuse me, the whole middle chunk of the article is all Twitter posts. It's amazing. It's amazing that someone can take like 10 Twitter posts and turn it into an article on a nationwide internet newspaper, and like it be a thing. It's like we just need to like stop Twitter. Twitter. Holy crap! Twitter.
Were they all Twitter except for the
Twitter.
FBI one?
No, it's like a ratio of like 10-1.
I'm clicking on the fan art one.
Oh God! Don't do it. It's a trap.
It's okay. This is actually pretty funny.
Is it? Wow. I wouldn't characterize this image as fan art, personally. More like morbid satirical shitpost, but you'll see what you want to see.
Well, I mean, I would hope that it's not fan art, because I would assume that the person that made this isn't actually also planning to go shoot up YouTube.
No, he's responding to the Slate writer that linked to him. He must be.
Good point.
Morbid satirical shitpost. See, that's better writing than anything in that article. This guy should be writing for Slate.
No, he should be writing for someone that would actually want to. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
good point.
Nobody would hire this guy at Slate to write. He made this picture.
No, that's fair enough. Maybe Slate needs to get sued by Hulk Hogan or something.
Yeah. It's almost kind of sad that it wasn't as retarded as I was hoping for.
Well, you know, a dead squirrel has nuts twice a day? I don't know.
How do you even come up with that? What is on your computer screen right now? It's going to turn this into an attack on you.
I think that's pretty reasonable, actually.
Yeah, well, I think that...
Sorry.
I think we I don't know. I think we owe Christina Cauterucci one, because we went into this one guns blazing, and it wasn't really all that bad.
She gets a nice okay sign from us.
You get
not quite a thumbs up, not quite a thumbs down. Just like you wrote something. Good for you.
It's a pat on the head. That's what you get.
And you called a morbid satirical shitpost fan art. She didn't quote fan art. She didn't put. Wait. Oh no, wait. Hold on a minute. No, hold on. Oh, this says a lot, actually. Elsewhere, users have taken photos of her and made what looks like fan art. She says that picture to her looks like fan art, which means that she is tone deaf to an incredible degree.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that's really sad, isn't it? Isn't it sad that you would look at that and say that's fan art?
I wonder if people like that actually understand what fan art is. I mean,
well, you see, fan art contains two elements. One is that the creator of the fan art must be a fan of the thing that he is making art of. And therefore, it is not an original work, but it is a work based off of an already existing work. Two is that the fan art must be a piece of art, for example, a picture,
as opposed to a photoshopped image,
or even a story. But simply taking a person's picture and photoshopping like slash marks on their cheek and a couple of goofy sentences and like a picture of a helicopter does not make it fan art.
Yeah, that's called a meme.
Yeah, it's almost a meme.
Oh, it's not a.
I'd say that
no,
what's
it's,
up there
it's,
is
it's
not
a
catchy
meme.
enough
It's
to
just
be a
not
meme.
a good one.
It's meme-esque.
Yeah, it's of or like a meme.
Yeah.
Meme-ish.
Meme-ish. I don't know. Anything else to cover here?
Let's see. PETA, with its extreme positions on animal products and racy, terrible advertising campaigns, is easy shorthand for the stereotype of the kind of loudmouthed, hairy armpitted, easily triggered activist cohort the right loves to hate. Never mind the organization says... What is this? Says Agdam hasn't attended one of the group's demonstrations in almost a decade. Okay.
So she was a lapsed PETA supporter.
Yeah. I don't see any reason why we would have to assume that she is affiliated with PETA. I mean, plenty of people have left PETA.
Even if she was affiliated with PETA, her actions aren't part of PETA's official position to do things.
Yeah.
Like, PETA asks its members to do stupid and awful things, but none of them involve shooting people, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, so I clicked on that particular link. And
yeah, it's an NBC News article.
And the article says, YouTube shooter Nasim Agdam's father baffled by her violence.
Baffled. No, that's not...
I don't see what that has to do with what they were saying.
But I read another article earlier where he was talking about how she had lost all of her income because YouTube had... I don't know. It's weird because people like say that they're baffled, and then they say that there's a reason, and then they say that they're baffled, and then they say that there's a reason, and then they say that the reason couldn't have been the reason because they're baffled. It's just bizarre.
Woman walks.
I guess
YouTube,
to be fair, the guy's daughter just died in the act of trying to kill several people, so yeah, he might be in shock at this point. So maybe we should give him a few days. But
I mean, maybe just a little.
I mean,
well, I mean, reporters are.
Let's just stuff a microphone in his face and not go away. I'm sure that's productive.
Reporters are feral dogs. Every single one of them will come to you under the guise of, searching for the truth about something and trying to inform people. But that guise quickly falls away when you realize that there's nothing they really gain from doing this that really informs the public or protects the public or helps give the public information they can use in any meaningful way. It's like I don't need to know what affiliation she had with PETA because she walked into a YouTube building and shot a bunch of people. Yeah. I mean, if there was some link there, if there was was there some reason that
some sort of
was she doing this in the name of PETA? I don't know.
PETA Command Excelsior.
I mean, what were they looking for? That's the weird thing. It's like, as journalists, I don't think that the proper way to report a story is there may be information everywhere. Let's find everything we can. I mean, they're trying to dig up every piece of information, but shouldn't there be pieces of information that have some kind of priority? Like
sure.
They're news organizations. They've been doing this for a long time.
You say that, but this is Slate.
Well, I'm talking about all the people with the microphones and this woman's father, sticking the microphone in his face. Is like there's multiple people here. Like, what are the important things that they're searching for, and what is the point of doing this?
I mean, they want answers, but the answer is really pretty simple. It's that she was a crazy person who lost her job.
Yeah.
The end. And it's not very satisfying as a story because there's not much you can do about that. Because, sometimes people just react really weirdly to things. And, unless you want to live in a draconian society, you kind of have to accept that sometimes people are going to do weird things that you don't understand and that don't make sense to you. And, what do you can't punish everyone else because of that.
Well, it's people that are calling everyone around them crazy being surprised when there's a crazy person.
Well, there's that too, definitely. To be fair, I don't see this author calling anybody crazy.
No. I'm talking about.
Se.
I'm talking about.
You're talking about like NBC or whatever. Or
No. I'm talking about like everyone that's looking at this from the angle of her being a vegan and
possibly trans.
yeah, all this stuff, and it's like all of these people. These are the types of people that are like looking for problems in others all the time. Reasons to call them a racist. Reason to call them,
Sure.
yeah, things like that. And so they see crazy people all the time. But then when an actual crazy person appears, they don't know how to handle this. They're surprised.
No, well, that's because it's the dilution of words, right? If you call everybody crazy, when someone who's actually crazy shows up, you're like, wow,
So like, what went wrong?
maybe I shouldn't be calling everyone crazy. Maybe just people that do this should be called crazy. But no.
Yeah, no, that's the.
They have a 3-second memory. They're goldfish, so you know.
I mean, I didn't even actually hear anyone talking about this today. It was everywhere for an hour yesterday, and now it's a Salon article or a Slate article.
Well, no, it was in the YouTube building for an hour yesterday.
Fan art.
Fan art.